Hello and welcome to another Planet Destiny exotic weapon review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Year 2 version of Super Good Advice. In Year 1, SGA was one of the bigger butts of the end of jokes. Now Bungie has changed some stuff up with it and it's actually made it into a decent gun. But is it worthwhile to use? Well, let's take a look at the perks and see what's changed. First off, for the muzzles, we have smooth ballistics, increased recoil, boost to range. Soft ballistics, less recoil, penalty to impact, and finally CQB ballistics. Greatly reduced recoil, significant penalty to range. For the muzzles, just go with smooth ballistics. As you can see, the recoil patterns are all kind of wonky with this gun, even after it got a stability upgrade in the 2.0 update. Going for the higher stability from soft or CQB ballistics just doesn't change much and will adversely affect your impact or your range. Since range does help a bit with aim assist, and you want your shots to do as much damage as possible from the impact stat, smooth ballistics just makes the most sense. The next perk is crowd control. Kills with this weapon grant bonus damage for a short time. This weapon really excels at putting damage into a single target due to the later exotic perks, so this one just makes it a little bit easier to start cutting through some of the lesser packs of enemies. There's nothing really bad to say about this perk on this gun. It makes you do more damage after killing stuff, further making you feel like Rambo incarnate every time you hold down that trigger. For the stat mod perks, we have single point sling, switch weapons faster, move quicker while aiming, hand loaded, and finally, flared magwell. Again, this is going to be an easy choice once you actually use the weapon. Single point sling is okay since it does make you swap out a little bit quicker, but once you have your weapon out, having that extra bit of range is just too good. You won't be challenging snipers or anything with it, but it just helps to extend that damage to some of the further ranges. Flared magwell is pointless on this gun, and I'll explain why in just one moment. The final namesake perk, missed shots, may be returned to the magazine. Landed shots may be replaced in the magazine from your reserves. So in the most recent patch, the missed shots being returned to the mag got reduced by 20%. That's honestly fine because it procced so much that it felt like you never really ran out of ammo. The next part of the perk says that landed shots may be replaced in the magazine from your reserves. That may is actually more like will. If you have one shot left in the magazine and 100 in reserves, hitting a target will start filling up the magazine. It's fantastic, and also makes the flared magwell perk completely useless since you won't be needing to reload this gun unless you start at 0 ammo and pick some up. The Super Good Advice perk is a little bit weird though and doesn't work on some mobs, namely Devil Walkers. It just acts like a normal machine gun in those cases and doesn't refund any ammo to the magazine. The second part of the perk is what really makes the weapon though. It used to be really disappointing to have to reload your almost infinitely firing gun, but now as long as you're hitting targets you'll be pulling shots from your reserves into your magazine, making your entire ammo pool your effective magazine size. I know I probably hyped it up how awesome it is just to hold down the trigger until you're 100% out of ammo, but in practical terms the weapon falls a little bit short. A lot of you probably want to know how it performed in the raid, and the answer is, it does well, but not well enough to replace your current loadout. Probably. The main damage fight, Golgoroth, Super Good Advice is woefully outmatched by Black Spindle. A full ammo reserve from Super Good Advice only did roughly 375,000 damage, while 18 shots with Black Hammer did 1.3 million. It does pretty well against ogres, but once again all snipers will just outperform it. It's a great all-round utility weapon to pump continual damage into a target, or multiple little ones if you want to take advantage of the crowd control perk. So where in PvE does this thing become good? Strikes against bosses that are difficult to land crits on. Check out everyone's favorite boss, the Undying Mind. You can melt him pretty quick as long as you tether the target. Since you get ammo back regardless of where you hit the target, it makes strikes a bit more relaxing to run. Yes, Black Spindle will absolutely outdamage it against a single target boss, but against unending waves of adds in some fights, this gun will not fail you until you completely run out of ammo. It's really worth picking up some heavy ammo increases for machine guns just so you can funnel more bullets into things. The recoil is still going to be a bit of a problem though. Ideally, you could land every shot as precision, but the recoil just doesn't make that possible, even in almost ideal circumstances like on Golgoroth. It all ends up working out since missed shots still have a very high chance to be returned to the magazine, but it's still aggravating to try to tame the beast that is this gun's recoil to try and maximize damage. I guess Bungie designed it with that in mind though. If this gun had the recoil of, say, the raid machine gun, then you really wouldn't ever miss shots unless you were doing it on purpose. Now time for PvP. The short answer here for PvP is just keep using Truth as your exotic heavy weapon. And if you want a machine gun for PvP, Ruin Wake or the Raid machine gun will be leagues better than this one in my opinion. The high rate of fire and lower impact just make time to kill a little bit too long. I even had trouble challenging some Last Word players when using this. I'd just keep it for the 6v6 game modes. In the right circumstances, it can lead to some very pleasing results since you'll just cut through entire enemy teams once you get crowd control active. Again, not having to reload ever is the big plus on this gun, but then again, you can get the same thing with the Raid machine gun provided you just let the Cocoon perk do its thing. The recoil is going to be one of the detrimental things to your success in PvP. This is probably one of the reasons why I had such trouble challenging people who are using the Last Word or other weapons. You just have to work a little bit too much to ensure that you can come out on top in a firefight. The cosmetics of the gun were not changed in any way that I could tell. It still looks like your standard issue New Monarchy type machine gun. The scope was always one of the things that I enjoyed most about it though. Even though the recoil is going everywhere, the scope just seems to help you keep it all in focus, so to speak. The sound is also awesome as it ever was. So wrapping things up, I think I made a decent case for not using this weapon due to a lot of practical reasons. It just doesn't add up to an exotic that's overall worth the slot if you're wanting to really do work with it. That being said, it has easily been the funnest weapon to use since Taken King has come out, more so than the Sleeper Simulant in my opinion. The change to allow hits to pull ammo into the magazine made the weapon into its fully realized form. I think the original idea behind this was just to fire endlessly and annoy teammates with all of your enthusiastic yelling. You can now do that, at least for as long as you have ammo in your reserves. So for that reason, I will still absolutely bring out this gun from time to time. I won't use it in places where I need to be doing serious stuff, but I sure as hell will be using it when I want to have serious fun. I hope you guys found this review helpful. This has been Patrick Casey with Planet Destiny, your guide to the Destiny universe.